Hello, are we live? Yes, I think we might be. Here we are. This is Chef Duncan here. I don't know if anyone's watching yet, so I'm just going to filibuster until people start coming on. It is 11 o'clock and that's the time I was supposed to come on. Good. These are herbs. See if you can guess what they are. I'm going to tell you in a minute, but before we get anybody, when there's no... Oh look, there's somebody. Hello somebody, 2 people. Oh wow. Hi everybody, well everybody, both of you, it's Duncan here. I'm going to try and look at me. You're looking at herbs at the moment. Here I am. So yeah, I'm Chef Duncan and I think I'm just about to have a little assistant. Hi. That's my little assistant. Right, we've got for some people watching now. So hi there, I'm Duncan Tinkler. Oh, Xanthi. I'm live to the nation, Xanthi. I told you that I was going to be live to the nation. Excuse me while I get the child some milk. You can be looking at the herbs while I try, or you can look at my strawberry jam that I'm making. That's strawberry jam. Right, sorry about this everybody, it's not live TV and this is the kind of thing that happens. And it's my first one, so she would come in straight away at the beginning, but luckily it's at the beginning. Right, there's your milk. Xanthi, that's your milk. Sorry, I've got a toddler who decided to come in and ask for milk at the moment I was about to start. So today we're going to be making a salt. This is salt. You guys are all in Essex, so that's really good. Do you want to come up? Right, let's turn this around on me and let me introduce myself. This is Xanthi. She's my little helper. She's the one who demanded milk. I'm Duncan. I'm the chef, head chef at. There's your milk. I'm the head chef. I can't go upstairs at the moment because I'm doing a video. You can take it upstairs yourself. Sorry everybody, this is a bit annoying. I've got a toddler demanding me go take milk upstairs and I can't do it. And Mummy, who's normally the camera woman, is on a call and she can't help either. You've got to just stay with me, Xanthi, or you can go upstairs on your own. Okay. There you go. Good girl. Right, off you go. Right, sorry everybody, I'm back and I'm on my own again now, so I can start. Excuse me, my name is Duncan. I'm the head chef of a company called Bangers and Balls. We are a pop-up supper club. We are situated in North Kent. I think Gareth is watching. Hello Gareth. I know Gareth from days gone by. I've always called him Samwise. I don't think he wants me to say that live on Facebook, but too late now. He used to look like Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, which is why we called him that. Anyway, so my name's Duncan. I'm the head chef of Bangers and Balls. We're a pop-up supper club. We're situated in North Kent, but I'm originally an Essex boy. I was born in Leigh-on-Sea, which is how I know Gareth. We specialise and champion seasonal, local and sustainable food. So when I talk about those things, that's what we kind of really try and sell the idea of. Seasonal food is stuff obviously that comes out when it comes out, so rather than getting tomatoes at Christmas we would use something else, substitute it or something, and strawberries as well and things like that, and we talk about sustainability, so making sure that the food comes from a place where it's not being like industrially farmed in many cases. Sometimes it's okay, but usually it's not. Where they're not using chemicals, they're not using untoward practices to try and maximise profit over the care for the environment and the crop. So I'm going to give you a bit of a history lesson on me and my company and things like that, and we're going to then talk about salt and making a herb salt. So Bangers and Balls have been around for 3 years. We started the company after I'd been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So my CBT instructor person said that I should try and do, he said first of all I shouldn't really work for any other people, it wasn't working, and secondly I need to do a repetitive task so I can practice mindfulness. And I found that making meatballs was a perfect thing to do, so I could stand there making meatballs, practice my mindfulness, and then that would give me a better mental, state of mind. And it turned out I was quite good at making meatballs, and people wanted to buy them, so we set up Bangers and Balls on that basis. And then we've been doing that for 3 years, ever evolving. When we first started, we were just going to do normal food whenever we wanted it, but I was very sure that I wanted to use local ingredients. So I made a network of friends who have little farms and things like that, and I would go to them and say, right, I need courgettes for my next supper club, and they said, what courgettes? And so either I could go to the supermarket and buy them, or some kind of greengrocer, less scrupulous one, or I could adapt, and I adapted. So we found quite soon that seasonal food is generally has lower food miles, so it comes from not as far away. It generally is much fresher and healthier, because when it's picked and has to travel, even in cold storage, it loses its nutrients, and it has a better taste as well. It's much more flavoursome. So that's how we got into it, and then we've just gradually been getting more and more seasonal, local, and sustainable as time has been going by. And then lockdown happened. At the beginning of lockdown, we were just planning to launch a new group. We've got a Facebook group, the Food Collective, which has been established for a few years, and it's full of very intelligent, clever people with lots of knowledge about seasonal, local produce, and giving wonderful tips and recipes, and how to grow your own, how to harvest, how to forage, all this kind of stuff. And we would plan to upgrade that for a paid membership, and we're in the planning stages. And unfortunately, at the beginning of lockdown, we had a baby daughter, and she passed away, which was obviously a tragedy. But rather than wallow in that, my wife and I decided we should try and do something good, like something to help people and things like that. So we launched our membership, the Foodie Revolution, and we basically thought that, we're in lockdown now, the planes have stopped flying in the sky, there's fish in Venice and all this kind of stuff. We've got an opportunity to turn things around and try and have a more sustainable way of life, and the best, easiest and most effective way of doing that is through food. And so we're the only people in the world to move out of London to have a smaller garden, and I'm just going to show you my garden now. So we had a little tiny patch of grass, scrappy bit of grass, and then we've turned it into this. So we've got tomatoes at the front, got a passion fruit there, we've got carrots at the back, loads of kale going on. That's my pride and joy, that's my lemon verbena plant, which we can have a look at in a minute. Herbs and things going on there, strawberries, there's a giant corn, if you can see that. So we're really proud of doing that, and it's really turned everything around for us. So it's given us something to do every day, it's made us given us something to get out of bed for, and it's given us purpose, and it's obviously given us like a little bit of exercise and that kind of stuff, delicious fresh food, and and just giving us better well-being. So that we're really pleased about that. Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration today. I'm going to make some salt. Well, I'm not going to make the salt. I have made salt before. It's quite a strenuous process. But today we're just going to make some herby salt. I've got 4 herbs here. That is, what is that? That's dried thyme and then dried oregano. This is fresh rosemary and fresh lemon verbena. Lemon verbena is my favourite herb of all. It's not very common. You don't necessarily see it in shops or anything, but you can buy plants from good stockists. It's a seasonal plant, so it comes out in late spring and it lasts until October or so. So it's kind of, you've got to learn how to preserve it if you want the flavour all year round, and this is probably the most simple way of doing it. I'm going to get some salt. That's, as I say, Malden sea salt. It's flaked, so rather than crystals or the powdery one, I've got the flaked one, and that's just because I like the texture of it, and it goes well on things like tomatoes and stuff. It kind of, you get a nice salty bite to it. Here I've already made a chili salt, so that's just dried red chilies mixed into a salt, and this is my thing of salt that I use all the time. So that is the finished product basically. That's more rosemary than lemon verbena, but it's similar. What I tend to do is keep this jar on the go, and when it starts to run out, I just make a new flavours available. So the flavours do change gradually over time. So then, do we use dried or fresh? Well, I'm using both. I think traditionally people do use dried herbs in making salts because it doesn't clog up, it doesn't kind of start getting sticky. But actually, if you mix it thoroughly first and leave it for a couple of days, the salt will dry the herb out and actually pull the flavour into the salt, so you've got a more balanced flavour. So I like to use a mixture of both. I dry my own herbs, so I've got a dehydrator which I use, which is really handy. But you can do it in an oven or on a hot day, or you can just bundle them up in a corner somewhere and leave them to dry somewhere out of the sunlight with air flowing around them. They should just dry out on their own. But yeah, so all I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, I cut my finger the other day, so everything's been quite difficult. So I was going to make a salsa today, but it's too difficult to chop things. Just shove the herbs in. You want about the same amount of herb as you've got salt, so about 50-50. So I'm just going to shove those in and then give it a bit of a mix up. They're quite finely chopped, but not massively. I mean, I like to have big bits, so you've got, every time you have a mouthful of it, you've got a different, not that you can eat this by the spoonful, but you sprinkle it on and then you've got different flavours and different bits, and I quite like that. The more finely you do it, the more evenly spread it gets, and the more kind of consistent flavour. So you'd have, rather than having, that's a bit of lemon verbena, that's a bit of rosemary, you'll have, that's a nice mixture of flavour. So I would recommend experimenting with the coarseness of your salt, the coarseness of your herbs, and the volume and which herbs you're using. As I say, you just have one of these on the go the entire time, and just every time you start running out of salt, buy a new one of them, turn half of it into a herb salt and half of it into just leave it as normal salt, and then you're laughing. So that's, just shove the rest of it in. It's difficult with one hand as well, even if you've got a cut hand or haven't got a cut hand. So that is basically it. Now I'm going to leave that for at least 2 days for the salt to dry the lemon verbena out, and then it will look much more like that, because that had fresh herbs in it, believe it or not, and they've dried out. There's no bacteria getting in there because it's salt, so you don't have to worry about anything about preserving it or anything. It is a preserving method. These are preserving seasonal flavours. So in here, that's just cheapo white wine vinegar from Asda. It's not the best vinegar in the world on its own, but it's really good for making flavoured vinegars. So that beautiful pink colour is from red onion. So just for about 3 hours, storing a red onion, and I've got another one here. This one's made out of posher vinegar. That's just red onion. Red onion and red chilli. So that's got quite a nice dark colour. This one is lighter. It's also got tomatoes, cucumbers. Basically, I made a salsa and covered it in vinegar and then drained the vinegar off. And then that is, and lime juice as well. And so that's that. And this, olive oil, just, cheapo olive oil. And I've used one which is made out of refined oils as well as virgin oils. And the reason for that is that it's got a higher burn rate or smoke point, and that means you can cook with it rather than just use it as a dressing. But if you're going to make an oil, extra virgin is probably better. I've infused that with rosemary, thyme and garlic, and that goes really well with chicken, beef, lamb, pork, everything really. And just as a dressing, as it's a really nice earthy flavour. So that's really fresh and zingy, and that's nice and deep and earthy. So the combination of the two as a dressing, or just dipping your bread in, is absolutely fantastic. So I would certainly recommend doing things like that. I can come back on here and show you how I've done those in more detail in the future and show you much more stuff. I can't really see any comments or anything on here, so I don't know if anyone's asking me questions or anything like that. So if you do and they're in the comments, I might be able to see them afterwards. I'm not really sure also how long I'm supposed to do this for. I thought 20 minutes, and it's been roughly 20 minutes. So I think that's about it, and I've kind of, hopefully that's everything. So yeah, thank you very much, Trust Links. I'm really pleased that you asked me to do this, and I hope I've done a good enough job. And I'm sorry about the little invasion at the beginning, and hopefully you'll have me back on. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you very much. Bye bye.